Hi, I'm Richard. I'd like to show you how to trim a bottle in a chuck. So I've got my hump of clay. Bring it up to where I can actually see it. I have some little bottles that I threw yesterday that are ready to be trimmed. So start. Don't need to worry so much about the bottom of the hump of clay. You can just worry about the top. And what's really good about this process is you can adjust it for the bottle. You don't have to have it one size fits all. So I've got a couple little bottles. There's one that's this size, there's one that's this size, and they need trimming. I threw them off the hump, so there's extra clay down here that needs to be trimmed off, and the form needs to be cleaned up. And they're just the perfect leather hard. So this one, you can see you can put your fingernail into it, but it doesn't squish when you push on it. So I'm going to start by opening this up and making a thick wall. You want the hole to be as deep as the neck. You know, if your neck's this big, you can go a little bit deeper so it doesn't touch. So, I'm not worrying about the bottom. I just want to have it centered, and I want it thick to support the form. Now, I'm going to try to match that angle on the shoulder of the pot. Now, this is very, very important. I just threw this, so it's plastic, and it's wet. It's got slip on it. If I just put that bottle that's leather hard on there, it would stick. So what I want to do now is scrape that excess slip off the surface. Bring this back to being plastic clay. Just get it all out of there. So that way, it won't stick. But the plastic clay will hold it. It's just like putting wads of clay around the outside, because unless you score and slip it, it's not going to stick. So now I've got my little bottle.
It's getting thick right about there. Put your fingernail into it to note where it's starting to get thick. Now turn it over and put it into the chuck. Now the chuck is centered. So all you need to do is tilt the bottle forward or backward until you have it centered. So you just keep turning on the wheel, and it really helps if you lock your elbows onto your knees and just put your thumb, that way you can keep your thumbs very steady and keep them in one place. So my thumbs are right there. Now remember, the chuck is plastic and the pot is leather hard, so they're not going to stick. It'll just hold itself in place. So you keep pushing and checking until you're either sick of it or it's centered. Now push it down a little bit and start trimming. So that's holding it. You can also push the side of the chuck into the form to really hold it in place. So I'm trimming up, getting rid of some of that excess clay. I'm defining where the foot is, because remember, it's pretty thick down there. I need to get a lot of clay off. So I'm trimming away, developing the form. Now, you can't see it from this angle, but from the side, when you're trimming in a chuck like this, the pot is up closer to your eyes, and you can see the profile. It's much easier to trim. I'm taking the round side, defining the inside of the foot. Now remember, you don't know how thick it is, so you have to check it every so often. So you can stop it, check it by pushing down gently with your fingertip. If If it goes down, stop trimming. If not, you can keep going. Now, this is where you have to remember how you threw it. If you threw that bottom with a flat bottom, the outside should be flat. If it's curved on the inside, it should be curved on the outside. The goal of the trimming is to get the wall cross section, the thickness of the wall, to be the same from top to bottom of the pot, very even. And then you can have the foot sticking out. Now, because I threw this off the hump, there's a lot of extra clay there, so I've got some extra trimming to do. I'm defining the foot. And coming up, refining the form a little bit more with the flat side of the tool. Making a line where I'm going to stop the glaze. Just making that foot a beautiful thing. Now, trimming it down a bit. I had a lot of extra clay. The foot was too tall, so I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. Take my finger, round off the foot. Now, it's very important. The inside is soft, so you have to compress the bottom as well. I'm using the round side of the throwing stick and pressing it down and compacting those little clay particles. The last thing you'll be doing is making sure you've signed it. To get it out, you just grab it with both hands and turn on the wheel very slowly, or you can sometimes just pick it out. Thank you.